said, my name is Adam Binet. I'm the Center of Excellence for Digital Innovation Lead at the Department of Education. And I'm so excited to get to talk to students today across the province. We find it really rewarding and exciting to talk to younger students too, because technology is part of all of our lives. And it's something that we're trying to inspire more students to learn about all the fun things we can do with technology and coding, electronics, and all that sort of thing. So this is a really fun activity, and I hope that you find it fun as well. And it's actually a pretty good opportunity to start learning the basics of a few things that have to do with coding, which is really great. So what I'll do is we'll get kind of going. So just so you know, this is sort of our rough schedule. Of course, there might be a couple of little changes or as we go along in terms of our ebb and flow. We are recording today's session. So if there's any students that, if there's any issues, just let us know. We do like to try and post these on our site, but editing and that sort of thing could always happen after the fact. So not a huge deal. And so, yeah, so we'll do some introductions. We're going to do a little warm-up activity soon. And then we're going to break off and start reading our book and look at a few small problems that are going to come up over the course of our book. And we're going to throw some challenges to the students in the classrooms. And of course, we love sharing, right? So teachers, if you're around and you're okay to have your webcam look around the room a little bit, we'd love to have interaction when and where we can. Or we can monitor the chat room, the chat box as well. So love to have feedback and any of those sorts of things. And ultimately down the road, hopefully, maybe it could come to your school sometime. I know the school year is running short now, but sometime in next year, we'd love to come and do more hands-on activities. So feel free to reach out. So with that all covered, I am going to send my very first challenge to the classrooms. I know it seems like a bit of a silly challenge and maybe a silly question, but it'll make sense after we go through it. So what we want you to do is to take about a minute, and I want you to sit there maybe first by yourself for a couple of seconds, and then maybe ask somebody that's sitting next to you and see what you decide on this. So how do you eat a banana? So I'll let you go for about a minute. And then we'll come back and we'll see maybe some responses that we can get shared from some of the classrooms.
And you went step by step, right, Adam? So like,
yes,
how many steps
exactly.
would it take to eat a banana?
Try and come up with a list, exactly, a step-by-step guide. I want the students to come up with that and yeah.
Good luck. So maybe what we'll do is teachers, if you have a student or students, a couple that came up with a great list of steps, they feel really confident about how to eat a banana that way, maybe you could raise your hand because it will take numbers, and we will call on them. They can kind of direct our steps. Kayla, Gally, your hand's up first. Do you have a couple of students? And Adam, do you have your banana ready?
I do. As a matter of fact, I do. So doing our best to make it a little bit interactive, I did get a prop, and I do have a real banana here with me. And based on some of your instructions, maybe we'll see where we can go with this.
Yes. Okay, so Mrs. Gelli's your class. Your students, you can give Adam the instructions and he's going to follow them through.
Okay, you have to give the instructions and he's going to do it to see if it works, okay?
First,
Talk really loud.
First, peel the banana, peeling off, like peel it off, the thing. And then, why is he doing it from the bottom? The cheese test.
How does he peel it? How does he peel it? He's not sure.
The cheese test. You have to peel the bananas.
Peel it.
Like you grab it and then you pull down, or you can twist it.
Like there?
Okay. Yeah, then you just pull down.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
How far down?
And then do it for the rest of the sides. Like do the same thing.
Okay.
And then you and then you take a bite of the top part, not the peeling.
Okay.
You bite it, then you chew it. You bite it, then you chew it, and then you digest it.
Oh, we gotta swallow it first.
Swallow it, then digest it.
Okay.
Pretty
Yay,
good.
well done.
Chicken nugget.
All right.
Thank you so much. And then we'll try one more, Adam. We have
Sure.
Kayla
Anybody?
France, MCS. Your hand was up second. Couple of steps.
Okay. I got Kate.
Peel it from the top, and then
Which one's the top?
Uh-oh.
the one with the long thing.
This long thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Then you
So
just cut it up.
Oh, cut it up, but uh-oh. I don't have that tool.
Then
Okay.
eat it.
So I
Then eat
peel it,
it.
all the sides.
It doesn't matter, just eat
Great job,
Okay.
Kim. Great job. Do we have time for one more, Adam? We have one more hand up.
Sure. Yeah.
So Bobby
Anybody?
Joe Killam, your class, if you want to give us some steps.
Oh, what I would do first, I would find the long side where it has the long stem on it, and then
Okay.
flip it around so it doesn't have the stem on the top,
Okay.
and then pinch the top of the banana.
Is this the top?
Yeah, pinch it,
Okay.
and now turn it 90 degrees,
Okay.
and then and then pinch it again.
Okay.
And now you're gonna grab it and pull down.
Oh. Okay.
And
Okay.
then you're gonna pull down just like that on all the sides.
Okay. Okay.
And now take a big bite.
How big is big?
About 7 centimeters.
7. Okay. Okay.
Now chew. Now swallow.
All of it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Awesome job. Way to go. Thank you,
There we go.
volunteers, for offering your steps. Adam, you're getting your fill of banana this morning.
I'm all filling up. Absolutely. and a mess as well. Okay. All right. So thank you for that. And I know it came off like I was being a little bit silly, but in some ways, what we're talking about here is actually when we talk about a list of steps, like some of the classes provided to us, when we're talking about computers, a list of steps is also known as an algorithm. So an algorithm it's kind of a big word, but that's all it means, is a set of instructions or a list of steps. And so the funny thing is that all 3 different students that talked to us had slightly different lists of steps to eat a banana. And the neat thing about being a human being is that I was able to understand what you were talking about pretty good. I was being a little bit silly, but at the end of the day, all 3 of you provided me with enough specific instructions that I could actually get the banana peeled and eat it, right? Now, to eat a banana is actually, to try and have a list of steps, can be actually kind of complex. And what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that you're giving that instructions to somebody that's never eaten a banana before, right? And the reason you have to be really specific with your steps is if that person had never eaten a banana before, how would they know? How would they know not to eat the whole thing without peeling it, right? And so being really specific is really important to computers. And being really specific when we create an algorithm, again, it's a really big word, I know, but again, just a list of steps. Our computers only do what we tell them to do most of the time. So when I create a computer program, or I'm somebody that uses a computer, the list of steps has to be really, 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 really specific, right? So the cool thing about humans is that we get to learn at a really fast pace as we grow up. And we could see our parents and our friends and our family and learn from them every day. But computers are not like that, right? A computer doesn't actually have a brain like we do. And a computer isn't able to look around and see the world and learn things on its own. Now, a quick aside, we might have heard the word artificial intelligence. And for today, we're going to kind of leave that to the side because that's a little bit different, but that'll be another webinar for next year. But for today, all we have to know is that our computers will only do exactly what we tell them to do. And that list of steps is an algorithm. So here's a quick example of what an algorithm could look like. A simple 5-step algorithm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We never even talked about washing hands, did we? And that's okay, but right, if we were to actually rethink this and have a really good list, right, would have you included all of those things? However, another funny thing is the second item on that list says pick a ripe banana. Well, I bet that every single student sitting there, if you like bananas, everybody probably likes a slightly different version of a ripe banana. Some of us like our bananas to be a little bit older with some of the brown spots and it's a little bit sweeter and a little bit more mushy. Some people like it when it's a little bit greener, right? A little bit more firm. But that's okay. That's the joy of being a human. We get to have those differences, and that's okay, right? So that set of algorithms on this screen right now is just one way to do it. As you could tell, you gave me 3 different ways to eat a banana, and I bet we could come up with a whole bunch of other ways as well. So at the end of the day, when it comes back to computers, we just have to remember that computers aren't smart. I know that's funny to say, but they're actually not smart. They only do exactly what we tell them to do. And that list of instructions is so, so, so important. Because otherwise, right, the computer can act in funny ways, or a computer program. So everything from a smartphone, an iPhone, an iPad, to a gaming console, they all run on this. So your Xbox or PlayStation, they all use algorithms with everything that they do. Check this one out. This is a way more complex algorithm. Now, I know this really falls small font here, but when you look at the 13 steps on this algorithm, this is how detailed we usually try and make our algorithms for a computer program, right? This one's pretty interesting, right? Now, the ripeness is still one of those difficult decisions that we have to make. But then saying, hold your banana in your dominant hand, right? And then it goes all the way down to number 13. Once you finish eating the banana, dispose of the peel responsibly by placing it in compost for the trash, right? The activity we just did, you probably didn't think about all those things, washing hands, throwing it out, but a computer needs that list of instructions to be really specific, because at the end of the day, if you don't, it'll just stop. Right? I don't want to carry around a banana peel for the rest of the day in my hand. That's not a lot of fun, right? So that's why we have to tell the computer exactly what to do. So it's really, really important. So now that we've kind of talked a little bit about what a computer is and how a computer program kind of works and what an algorithm is, something else you can think about in your daily life is you probably, I'm going to use another big word here, executed or initiated your own algorithm today. If you got up and you got dressed for school, that's a list of steps that you go through in your head in the morning, right? If you went and brushed your teeth this morning, that's a list of steps. Now, you have it down, you have it memorized at this point, but that's kind of how algorithms work. We as humans do them every single day, and so do computers. And creating your own computer program and algorithm is actually not that hard. And maybe some of you have even done some computer programming already with Scratch or Scratch Junior or block coding, right? So now this is, Amy, I think we're going to lead up to our first problem, right?
Yes, our first small problem. So this is going to be a hands-on. Students, I'll just let you know that each teacher, you can decide how you would like students to work on these small problems. Maybe you've talked about it beforehand. It could be individual, it can be in partners, it could be in a small group, whatever works best for you. So students, when we mention these problems, these are going to be things that you're going to solve together or yourself. And we're going to go to the book. So this is an amazing book that we sent along with your kit. It's How to Code a Sandcastle by Josh Funk. And so we're going to kind of learn the characters really quickly here, and then we are going to have a small problem to solve. And it's super important for when we get started with our hands. And in this, you have a better spot in your room as well. We would, and so just for mess sake, students, we can kind of build in the shallows of that ocean if you want to find a spot around that tablecloth, or again, teachers, if you have a spot in mind. And then Adam, I'm going to let you take it away to tell them how they're going to build this algorithm for how to build, finding a place to build.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to resume sharing my screen really quickly here. Perfect. And just give me a moment. There we go. Okay. So small problem number one. Luckily, this is a pretty small one. And that's the fun thing with computers and technology. We can solve really, really, really hard problems. But for now, we're just going to do something simple. And so we've read up to the book up to this point, and we know in the book that our characters are trying to figure out where to put this sandcastle, right? So we want you in your packet there. We have a handout for you, right? And perfect. Thanks, Amy. And we have we created a list. We created a table where we want you to come up with the list of instructions, right, of where to build your sandcastle. And you need to sit down and really think it through in your classroom and with your teacher and with your friends and try and figure out where you're going to do it. And remember, so our tablecloth is sort of our water, right? So this is our first go, and it's going to be kind of funny, but just sit down and think about it and try and write it out step by step. And then we're hoping that we could share a little bit once we have our 10 minutes here, right?
That's
so
great.
That's it. Perfect.
And Adam, I was just going to mention to students, if you're sitting, you may have to actually get up. So you're going to have to write those instructions out, right? Push my chair out, stand up, how many steps over. So you've really got to think about where you are right now and where you want your sandcastle to be. And 10 minutes. I'm going to check in. Go for it.
Perfect.
One. Ah. Okay. So you should be sitting at your spot, hopefully. If you didn't happen to finish, is that okay, Adam, if they didn't finish it?
Oh, I think that we could get that sorted out, and yep.
Absolutely,
not a big
right?
deal. Yep.
Absolutely. It's just about the try and just getting the feel for those algorithms and the steps that we need to put down that are so specific. So Centerville community, a couple of students, you want to share your algorithm with us?
Go ahead.
Yes, we did. So our algorithm, so push in desk to perimeter of room, stand up and push in chair, come out into middle of classroom, get sand from teacher, put down tablecloth, turn on video chat, listen to people talking, and write down your algorithm.
Way to go. Awesome.
Awesome.
We have a couple more wanting to share. If you want, teachers too, you could always put in how many steps. We're interested in the numbers as well, because everyone has a different amount of steps. So if you want to share a few steps in the chat, that would be great. Fundy Shores, Tanisha Thompson, do you have a student who wants to share? Or two?
No, I have Ellie is going to come up and share. Come on up, Ellie. Bring your thing.
Awesome.
Nice and loud. Great. Just the speakers here. So
I have a flat area where nobody is. Build on the sides. Don't go in the middle. Move over for other people. Don't go in a wet spot. Go where there's not what?
you still have a lot of space.
Go where there's a lot of sand. I got one.
Great job.
Well done, Ellie. Way to go.
Yeah, that was great, Ellie.
So we've got like 5 steps, 6 steps. See how they're not all the same, right? For your algorithm. I think we have time for one more. And then, so Melissa Robinson, your class, Tara, what we'll do is let your class go first in the 3rd challenge. Melissa Robinson, do you have a student that wants to share, or a couple students?
Yeah, we got a
13
couple
steps.
students here.
Okay.
We have 5 steps. So, step 1, find a partner. Step 2, connect you and your partner's desks. Step 3, get light blue paper. Step 4, place paper in the middle of the 2 desks. Step 5, get 2 bags of light brown kinetic sand for you and your partner.
Awesome. Way to go. So specific. Well done, you guys. Excellent. All right. We are now on to small problem number 2, perhaps. And so that means you do need sand in front of you, and you will need a pail. Okay, so we're actually going to follow this along with the story. So I'm just going to share my screen. It's only 1 page. It's a very simple problem, but how we know we do actually need sand for the sandcastle. Okay, so we found our spot, and now we've got to basically gather our materials that we need. And so here we go. It's not enough.
So, not enough. Exactly. Okay. Here we go. So, maybe we've led our students astray. So they have 1 clump of sand, maybe, right now. And so we have our small problem number 2, though, don't we? So, as you read the book and did the steps, right? That was good. It's a good. However, let's talk about algorithms again here. And I want to give you something that will make your life a little bit easier. And this is actually something that's really done by people that do computer science and programming and all that sort of thing. So you have something that you need to accomplish, right? But you know that it's going to take the same thing, maybe a few times to get it finished. And so one of the neat things that we have in computer science and programming is something called loops. And so I'm going to talk, I know we've had a lot of technical terms today, algorithm, sequence, and now loops. Now we all know what loops are, and we know what a loop kind of looks like in our mind. But in computer science and programming, it's something pretty simple, right? So
Sorry, Adam. Sorry, Adam. I'm so sorry, but your volume, is anyone else having trouble hearing Adam? You're kind of breaking in and out just a little bit, Adam.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Some other people are too. Yeah. Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure maybe it was something that you could fix. I don't know.
Just taking a look here. Sorry. Let me see here.
Oh, that's better. Maybe you have to be a little closer.
I'll just get nice and close. There we go. So, in programming, sometimes we can use special tricks that make our lives a little bit easier. Just like as humans, we do these things naturally without knowing it. So it's a pretty neat thing. But when we remember, computers only do what we tell them to do. So we need to be really, really intentional with what we tell the computer to do. So that'll lead us into this idea of a loop. So here's a little fun random scenario that I came up with for you. So we're planning a birthday party, right? Everybody loves birthday parties probably, I hope. And you're in charge of filling up all the balloons for the party. So you bought a package of balloons, there's 10 in the package, and you need to blow all of them up, right? And you know how to do it, and you know exactly what you would probably do. However, the computer needs to be told exactly what to do and how to do it. So for us, we can do it one at a time, tie it, put it aside, pick up another balloon, tie it, put it aside. That's what we would do as human beings. And we would do that until all 10 of those things are done. But in programming, a loop is like our balloon filling process. It's a way for the computer to do something over and over and over again, just like you would have by blowing up those balloons, right? And so doing that would look maybe something like this. And my next slide will show you what it could look like written as computer code. I know it's a bit of an interesting premise. So if you look at the top and on the left, in the black, there's what we call a snippet of code, and that's what real code looks like. So you can see a few interesting words there. It's sort of like English, and we can actually interpret it with our brains and read that and make sense of it. So essentially, we can see for a balloon in range and in brackets the number 10, right? So this will actually create the conditions for a loop to start. And this little piece of code will run 10 times until that thing is done. So that's a condition. Once a condition is met, it stops. Again, in our brains, we do this all the time anyway. But when it comes to a computer, we have to be really specific. And by doing this little tiny bit of code, instead of writing a bunch of code, we can write a little tiny bit of code, and it saves us time, and it's more efficient. And I know me as a human being, and I always say this to my students, would you rather get your homework done in 1 hour or 2 hours? I think most students would say 1, because you want time back. Using special code like this in programming really can help with things like that. On the left-hand side down here, you'll see what is from Scratch programming. And if you've ever done Scratch, you probably recognize that here. So you can do that in Scratch as well. Right? So we're going to repeat those 3 steps over and over and over until the thing is met, that condition is met. And I know I'm throwing a lot of technical computer science terms at you, but it's all part of it, and I think be exposed to that stuff too.
No, that's awesome, Adam. So what we're going to do right now is with your pail, how many times does it take to get all the sand out of that bag? So you can go ahead, keep a count. You've already done it once. See how many times you would have to loop that if we were going to use a computer program. Go ahead, fill those pails, count how many. We'll look for your answers in the chat before we start our last building challenge. Go ahead. All right, as you're repeating that, teachers, you can kind of listen in the room, put any numbers. How many pails did it take? How many loops would we have to do in order to get all of that sand out of the bag? Our bags are the same size, however, we may not fill them the same, so it may be different numbers. We've got 8 times, repeating 8 times, 7, between 7 and 9, so you can see 6, 7, 8 and a half. Some aren't full. 7. So how neat. We would have to put that sequence on and use those loops like Adam was talking about, however many times it would take for it to be emptied. 7, 8, 6. And you can see it's a little bit different because we're all a little bit different. So we're going to fill that a little bit differently. All right. 5. Wow, those must have been large. Good for you guys. Yeah, Jillian's put in the chat too. It's a great wonder question. Why are there different numbers of pails for the same amount of sand, right? We had between 6 and 8 as well, depending on how hard we packed them in. So that's a great point too, right? How hard you're pressing down, if they're level, if there's some over the top, a lot of variables. Excellent. I think we're ready for our main challenge and the most fun, I would say, of all the challenges. And so I'm going to share my screen in a second for small problem number 3. And this problem is one where it cannot be solved the same way. And it's something to just keep in your mind. All of us are not going to solve this problem the same way. And that's the beauty of what we're talking about today. Like Adam said, there's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of just individual things that we can do with code that will just, I don't know, inspire other people. It's never, not necessarily the same. So small problem number 3 is this. You're given seashells, and you were also given toothpicks. This is actually going to be a really neat tool. I bet your mind's even thinking like, this can be such a great tool to just kind of involve some intricate details on your castle. As well, you're still going to need those pails, I think. And so Adam's going to tell you here just a couple more frameworks for how to build this castle, and we just cannot wait to see the finished product. Adam, take it away.
Okay, sorry about my microphone, everybody. Of course, technology. I'll try, and if it's not any better, I'll do a quick swap out here during this activity. But
much better, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, turn it off, turn it on again. It always works, right? So, so now that we've read up to the part where this is the design challenge, and so it's really interesting. Even that algorithm that we were talking about in the loops, it's funny that some of the classes had slightly different results. And that's the hardest part of computer science and programming, is that as humans, we can understand these things in real time. But when it comes to a computer, it's a lot harder. And that's the biggest challenge when creating programs and software, really. Because as humans, we see all those little slight variations. Anyway, we're on to the fun part where we're going to have some creativity. So you can use your seashells, your toothpicks, your cups, whatever you want to decorate your sandcastles, right? And so we want you to take your time and have some fun here and make it as decorated as you wish. And you can see Amy's holding up her sheet here. And on that sheet that you should all have is our last set of algorithm instructions. So you can use the word bank at the bottom to help you put in very specific language. Because remember this, at the end of the day, if we were to trade your algorithms for this final step with another student in another part of the province, could they do the exact same design that you did? That's the question. That's the really cool part and the sign of a really good computer program. It's always doing the same thing no matter who's using it or interpreting it. So creativity is a big part of technology. So I'm going to stop talking because you're going to get to the fun stuff. And I'm going to put the timer up. And hopefully at the end, we can start seeing some great designs and get some photos and some sharing too.
And just before you do that, set the timer, Adam. I just want to be mindful, students, before you actually dig into that sand, it is a good idea to have a plan, right? That's why we gave you the sheet to build out your steps, like Adam was saying. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is that there isn't really a sandcastle look that you have to go for. A sandcastle can look however you want it to look. It doesn't have to have pillars. It doesn't have to have 2 stories. Maybe yours wants 8 stories. Maybe you want yours octagon. So the possibilities of what your sandcastle can look like are as unlimitless as your mind. What you can come up with, you can create. So we are ready for 15 minutes on the clock. If we need more time, we will do it. Go.
Perfect.
Mega Wilbur can see those as well. Those look, wow, those look great. Oh, and Deer Island, I see yours.
Oh, yes.
Those look so great. Oh, wow. What a stunning sandcastle in the chat.
Yeah, love it. So creative.
Lindsay Steves, we see yours. Amazing.
Wow. Yes, look at all those. Alicia, yes.
Bristol Elementary, I see yours. Those look incredible. Wow. Oh, a few more in the chat. Wow.
Really nice.
Wow, so creative. Thank you for sharing. Oh my gosh, there was a huge one. I just saw. Massive. It was so great.
Yeah, look at that. It's a compound. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's so great. Oh, amazing. And we are mindful of time. We know we only have 5 minutes left, and we know some of you recess and other getting to other classes might be coming up. And we certainly want to thank you. Oh, Liverpool. Natasha Grow, look at that. Oh my gosh, it's like a spiral in the chat. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
So just as you're kind of finishing up, teachers, we'll just leave the cleanup up to you. And by that, we mean You may want students to put the sand back in the bag to keep it for another time, for sure. But we'll let you to kind of decide how you'd like that to roll. Wow. And Adam just has one more thing to share before we go, and that's for any students who love this activity. For any of you who love this activity, there are some things in your future that Adam would love to talk about that you can start thinking and dreaming about now. So Adam, as they're cleaning up and celebrating, we'll take it away.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
Centerfold. That's an amazing sandcastle, Jenny. Thanks.
So much fun, right? How cool is this to use technology, right? To get to share with students across New Brunswick all at the same time, right? And I just love that Amy could create activities like this that we bring us all together and using technology in a good way, right? In a positive, fun way. So that's a couple of my closing notes. Is I would just say, with technology, creativity is still so important. I think a lot of people think about technology as being very robotic and very step-by-step, which it is, but you still need the creative mind that a lot of you as students probably have right now, and you all have. I know you do. I see it. We've all seen it. And so as you are, and I know we have students in grade 3 and 4 and 5, as you are going up in school and in life, and as a student, we want you to think about how can you use technology to learn. Technology is a great way to learn. Computer programming is a great way to learn. It unlocks certain things in your mind, which are really cool. And what you were able to see here and what was shared is all of our sandcastles look totally different. And that's okay. That's the cool part about being a human, is that we all have different tastes and likes and interests and love. And the way that we see how something looks good to me might not look good to you. And that's okay. So coding is exactly like this activity we just did, right? We're using lines of code, which are algorithms, and we're creating something, right? And that's what we want you to think about technology. How can we use technology to create things? Could we make a game? Could we make an application, a website that are going to help people, right? Being creative in coding is really important, and having more and more students from diverse backgrounds is so important as well, because we all bring those life experiences into programs and apps and things that we make, right? And creativity almost has no bounds, right? Now, there's certain things that we have to, the laws of physics, I guess, and gravity things, but if you can dream up something in your mind, chances are there's a way to create it with technology. My students would always ask me, can I do ... this? I almost always stop them and say, whatever you're going to say, probably you can. That's the cool, amazing thing. So in your classes, if you haven't had a chance to do coding or programming yet, with Scratch or Scratch Junior or MakeBlock or use a microbit, we would love to talk. And if your teacher wants, you might have some of that already at your school, or you don't, please reach out. We would love to work with you, and we're partnered with Brilliant Labs. We could have people come in and do sessions with you. We have iPads we could bring in and do some stuff for the day. We just want to expose students to technology because it's awesome and it's a great learning tool. And as you get older, it's something that you can use every day as a student. Right. And the last thing I'll leave with is just a couple of ideas about what sort of jobs could we get from this? Because I know you're young right now, but as you go into high school and middle school and high school, you're going to start thinking about life after school. And some of our most amazing students with technology are your age and middle school. We find the ability to do this stuff is so amazing at these younger ages before you kind of get a little bit older. So one job that you could get down the road out of this, and you can do a lot of this in middle school and high school and now, and it's summer and at home, is programming. You're a programmer. So just like it says here, imagine you're a wizard with a magic spell book, and each spell in your book allows you to do something different, right? That is essentially what a computer programmer is. You're doing what you did with algorithms and creating something really awesome. And the other one on the flip side, so a programmer is what we call back end. So they're doing code and all the big lines of code you've probably seen. Then we have people that do the front end design, the more creative, but they're both creative in different ways. The front end designer, known as a UX designer, the user interface. When you have a smartphone and you play with it, or a tablet, that's the user interface, what you see, the visual representation of the graphics and the colors and the buttons and the text. So that's the neat thing in program and technology, you need both of those people and then a whole bunch of others. So we just want you to think about using technology. If you haven't done any coding, we would love for you to play with it. And if you need our help, we're here to support in any way we can.
Absolutely. So we hope we just planted some dreams for some of you who just loved coding that sandcastle and building those algorithms. And we want to say teachers, educators from all over the province, thank you so much. Students, thank you so much for your time and for your creativity and for your interaction. We absolutely want to just thank you. And we hope you enjoy this sunny day and spread the news of this event with the people around you. Tell them how much you enjoyed it. Tell and say thanks to your teachers, because this one probably got messy. So
yeah, absolutely. And a big thank you to all the teachers and all the students for joining us today and hopefully having some fun and just thinking about the world just a little bit differently, right? And we really would love to hopefully connect at some point down the road. And other than that, I think we're pretty much done, right, Amy?
yes. So we will see you guys a little later. Enjoy your day in the sunshine. We're just so excited you joined us. So enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.